Up on this Sunday evening edition of the Pro Wrestling Show, we have the NXT Takeover 31 Predict the Outcome special, where we look back and see the matches that's going to be grudge matches, championship matches, anything that goes. Predict the outcome with you, giving you the previews, my outcome, my predictions on who's going to lead NXT Takeover as champions and winners of the event. Also, we'll have hot topics as we get to James Storm was almost close of coming to WWE after WrestleMania. We'll have that story. Plus, the New Japan president resigns. What's going on with that? And NBC decides they're going to drop a couple of well-known NBC channels that favor for Peacock. We'll tell you more. And what does that involve WWE? All this morning, the Pro Wrestling Show starts right now. Hello everyone, welcome to this edition, the special edition, the Sunday evening edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host as always, Kendrick Dix here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in the conversation using the hashtag ProWrestling Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? As we have the Pro Wrestling Show presents Predict the Outcome for NXT Takeover 31. And NXT is on the roll. Because NXT won his own little pay-per-view event, and it's going to give so. But like I said, we'll have hot topics later on in the show. But let's get started with the action. Alright, coming up is the NXT Cruiserweight Championship that's just been added into the match, where champion Pablo Escobar goes against Isaiah Swerve Scott. Now this match has been going for a long time contested. So Isaiah Swerve Scott got the victory over Escobar in a 6-man tag team match. This week on NXT, they had a face-to-face off. Well, virtually, if you call it. And Scott said that he is looking forward to this championship match, and he's going to do it again and become the Cruiserweight champion at TakeOver. Escobar was saying that he doesn't have a chance. And Scott was saying that you can't have these shenanigans where you use masses, having your group, your gang with me, your crew. So it's just me, 1-on-1. It's just kind of hard. Escobar was very confident in this interview. So I want to say, look for Escobar to pull another victory over Swerve and do another Swerve on this time. So look for that to happen. Also, I expect the tag team titles will be on the line as well as the champions Breezango. They haven't been announced, but I expect they're going to have a match. Probably you have to follow WWE.com. Probably against Imperium again, or who knows. So look for that. Another grudge match that many people are talking about is the Velveteen Dream goes against Kushida. Now this all started when Dream returned and was trying to get back in the NXT title picture. He didn't win unsuccessfully, and he took his frustrations out on Kushida. Kushida was out actually for a minute. Kushida returned and attacked Velveteen Dream to get payback. So I want to say look for the Velveteen Dream to win over Kushida. So we'll see on that. I guess that's it for now. Alright, that ends the first half of the NXT TakeOver 31. We'll have the second half later on, where we had 2 matches that implicated the second half later. We'll talk about that in that huge mixed tag team match. But coming up, we'll have hot topics. We're talking about James Storm was close of signing with WWE coming in after WrestleMania. You won't believe how he revealed it. Also, the New Japan president, he's resigned. What's this mean for New Japan going forward? And NBC says that they're going to get rid of some of these channels and they're going to in favor for Peacock going forward in the future. Will this hurt WWE? We have to wait and find out. All this and more on the Pro Wrestling Show. Return in a minute. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host as always, Kid Dix here. Glad you can join us in the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, tell them the Pro Wrestling Show is on. Wrestling indeed matters. We do it for you, provide you good wrestling content as we always do. Alright, we'll get to the second half of the NXT Takeover predicted outcome later. Let's get to hot topics. Alright, on hot topics this week, man, we got a bunch of hot topics to set you in for fire. Now, the People's Champion, The Rock, who we told you, we broke the story a couple of weeks ago that he and his partner Daniel Garcia, his ex-wife and now business partner, have decided that they're going to venture for the XFL, and they purchased the XFL. Now they announced the start date for their XFL. Garcia and Johnson announced that the XFL will return in the spring of 2022. Why do I get that confused? But 2022. So look forward for the XFL to return. Now you got to wonder who's they're going to be their television partners. Are they going to have television partners? Are they going to just scream it like everybody else? You know, I guess get with NBC, since The Rock has that strong hold with NBC. Then the XFL returned to NBC. It was on Fox, and it was on ABC. So I look forward to seeing they putting on NBC, since they got a partnership with NBC. And you know, NBC got the NBC Sports Network, NBC, but there's Peacock. Believe me, they'll find a way. Electric television. All right, moving over from there is former Impact star and NWA star James Storm had said made a statement and said that he was close to sign with WWE after WrestleMania of this year. It didn't happen, unfortunately, due to the pandemic. Storm says that he was in constant contact with former Raw Executive Director Paul Heyman. He was going to be brought in on Raw. You got the one that was James Storm was going to be there to be with Bobby Roode. Come on. It's just it could happen. But I don't know. James Storm, the NWA, and all them. I don't know. But you know how they go. We'll see. Never say never. Speaking of the NWA, NWA President Billy Corgan had made mention that a lot of people are wondering what's the status of the NWA. Corgan addressed the status on his social media and says the NWA power will return when it returns. From opinion though, I don't see it happening. The NWA could have been around, but you know what I'm saying? I just don't know. It's just when you got stars, you got Thunder Rosa going to AEW trying to promote the NWA, and then you got the stars leaving. I don't know what to say, to be honest. It's just, I don't know. I'm for the NWA, but it's just like they need to come up, because MLW, AEW, and WWE, Impact, Ring On, trying to get back in the groove. WWE and AEW been in the groove for weeks. So during the pandemic and after this pandemic, I just think sometimes wrestlers, companies, you got to follow with suit. Like WWE doing it and AEW doing it, you got to follow with suit. And I think they're just buying the stuff to survive and building out who's number 3. To be honest with you, I think it's a tie between Ring On and Impact on number 3. It's just my saying, but hey, we'll see. Speaking of that, the New Japan president Harold Mill has resigned. Now, many people are saying Mill resigned because he made a promise that he was supposed to bring $100 million by the end of the year. But due to COVID-19, that is not going to happen. Well, Melvin wanted to leave, and knowing that he couldn't had that realistic goal because of COVID-19. A lot of people get furloughed. A lot of people are being laid off. But in wrestling, it's just entertainment. Keep on rolling and going. They said the actual estimate number was supposed to be 200 million, but you know how that can go. That's virtual. But they'll be replaced by the American president of New Japan. We'll see. They said also TV deals and stuff wasn't in place, because if you look right back, Impact came into Access TV, where New Japan had their home and Access TV wanted New Japan to work with Impact, but Access wanted New Japan to work with Impact. New Japan didn't want to work with Impact because of the long history way back when, which I understand. Impact didn't like it, and then Access didn't like it. Access told New Japan they had to get out there, which is crazy. But New Japan out there, but it's, I don't know. It's just weird. It's just a business ploy, I think, too. But New Japan, they got some good wrestlers. It's just, you get to watch on YouTube and stuff. I think they brought Darren Young and a couple other people. We'll see how that goes coming forward on that. Also, WWE saying the draft will return. The WWE draft will return on next week. We'll have it here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Who went to what shows, what brands. But many people are saying, Triple H, you were saying on the conference call that he's not aware on who's heading to Raw SmackDown due to Triple H not being head of talent relations no more. He got demoted. Now he's just running the NXT brand, NXT contracts and stuff like that going forward. So it's kind of interesting to see who's going to Raw, what's Raw superstars going to SmackDown, what SmackDown superstars are going to Raw. Time to shake things up, like Mr. McMahon used to say. Speaking of shaking things up, NBC and WWE has that partnership. Now there have been a turn of attention that NBC's streaming site, Peacock, wants to cut the E Network, allegedly the E Network, the Sci-Fi Network, off of TV for good and just focus on Peacock. And many people are saying that shows like Total Bellas that's on the E Network and Sci-Fi that used to be the home of SmackDown and ECW, but WWE really got their hub, is their show is the USA Network for Raw. So I don't know what to say, but this will look like it's going. Everything is going streaming now. It ain't gonna be no networks no more. If it do be a network, it's just gonna be a streaming network. Like we here on Connect, we're a streaming network. So here on YouTube. So I think streaming is in, and I think that's what it is. I think they're just gonna be favoring Peacock going forward. It is what it is. Also, we heard rumors that Arn Anderson, Arn Anderson, the head coach of the Nightmare Family for Cody, has applied for trademarks for the Four Horsemen. So I hope he wins it, because they'll fight tooth and nail to keep everything they have, even if they came from another company. So they kept rejecting Cody's idea that his dad. And I don't get it. You know, if you're Dusty, American Dream Dusty Rhodes, God bless his soul, Dusty should have known better. If you came up with those ideas and those concepts, you should know better. You got to save and go apply it to the patent office. Dusty didn't have to wear I don't know, Jim Crockett did. They just thought about wrestling. Sometimes, like Vince McMahon, I admire Vince McMahon so much that he turned his wrestling show into a business. He got all the patents, you can name it, trademarks, and said, hey, no one can take our ideas, our logos and stuff like that. You have to admire that from a man like Mr. McMahon, regardless of what he has done. Also, Forbes has released a top 50 list of the most influential chief market officers, and Stephanie McMahon is on the list at number 2. Stephanie McMahon, the chief brand officer of the WWE, number 2. And when you talk about marketing, Stephanie McMahon is up there. She marketed the cancer campaigns, the pancreatic cancer, and now she's going to market the breast cancer this month. So you get the word out. And with Stephanie McMahon, so she deserves it. I admire Stephanie McMahon as well as the past couple of years. And finally, former Impact star, Ring of Honor star Michael Elgin has entered rehab for painkiller addiction. Oh man, Michael Elgin, one of the toughest, roughest pound superstars in wrestling. We hope he get well. We hope he beat this addiction and get back to the ring. I like to see him in AEW. That's what I like to see Michael Elgin in AEW. Really. All right. That ends Hot Topics. Let's move back to let's move back to the predicted outcome, the second half of the predicted outcome for WWE NXT Takeover. All right, now this is a championship match. This has balling for weeks, where champion Damian Priest defends his North American Championship against former champion Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling. Now this match all started where it came out of the blue. Damian Priest been a fighting champion. He's been taking on fighting newcomers such as Timmy Thatcher, Keith Lee, you name it. Now he turned his attention to a man that could take the championship away from him. Now also, as well, is Candice Gargaro's wife, Candice LeRae. She looks to become the next NXT Women's Champion. If she can dethrone Io Shirai. I don't see that happening. So look for Io Shirai to win that match. Easy cake on the Pixie Cream. Well, for Gargano and Priest, I want to say Priest emerged victorious. But this week they had their mixed tag team match where Gargano and the Gargaros went against Priest and Iro. It was a good mixed tag team match, but the Gargaros won the match. But look for the Gargaros to lose in both championship matches. And finally, the NXT World Championship match between new champion Finn Balor defends his championship against Kyle O'Reilly. Now, Kyle O'Reilly earned this match by winning the Elimination Gauntlet, defeating 5 other men to get to this point. Now, I don't know if Finn Balor a tweener or he a good guy, a bad guy, I don't know. He looks like he was just a tweener. Supposed to be a heavily contested match between the two for the championship. So look for Finn Balor to emerge victorious with the Kuka of Raw. O'Reilly's going to use those strikes and use their submissions technique. Balor's the same way. He likes strikes and use technique, but Balor's going to use his offense by flying up in the air. So look for that to happen. All right, that ends the Pro Wrestling Show Predicted Outcome presents NXT Takeover 31 predictions. I've been your host, KJ Dix, saying so long, and you've been seeing NXT Takeover like I'm going to see it later. Hope to see you next week. See you later.